This is what one chunk in Minecraft looks like, and this is me, about to spend the next 100 days living in a world with a border the size of one chunk. So yeah, day 1, I started by getting every tree in the chunk, making sure I grabbed every sapling so I wouldn't be stranded without wood in the future. It's also a good time for me to mention that I'm also in hardcore mode, so if I die once, the world gets deleted forever. Once I got some basic tools and collected a bit more cobblestone, I started mining into the chunk. This actually stretched on into day 2, where I came across a water aquifer. I did quickly get around this by using doors, where I found coal and my first pieces of iron. The rest of day 2 was just spent mining in a spiral. Yeah, not the most eventful day. All I got was lapis. When I went back up to the surface, I realized I was running out of hunger very quickly, which is not good in hardcore because you can starve to death in this game mode. And remember, if I die, everything is gone. I didn't have any water on the surface, which is needed if I ever want to grow food, but there is a way. I had to stop looking in my chunk and start thinking outside of the box. Literally. Water can keep plants hydrated from 4 blocks away, and luckily I'm right next to an ocean, which is frozen. But right on the shore was a tree, which blocked snowfall from freezing the water under it, so I knew I had a chance. Enough with the stupid montage. I spent 4 days in a dirt box for a single piece of bread. Day 7! I'm speaking like Luke the Notable this day because I'm fun. I quickly made it to bedrock and mined for diamonds. I was getting kind of lonely, so I had a snowball fight with my friend. Going into day 8, I started mining on a level that I found online for iron. This actually worked out pretty well, giving me 23 pieces of iron for a single level. Now that I can actually get water, I started leveling out the top of the chunk to make a better farm, until phantoms started spawning. So I had to wait until the morning of day 9 before I could finish the farm. Once I replaced all exposed stone with dirt, it became nighttime. Which means more phantoms, which means waiting until day 10. And I was AFK for way too long, so the only thing I did on day 10 was find out that I have to put trapdoors over the water to keep it from freezing. This time the night wasn't spent away from my PC, and instead I spent all night mining. This time I mined level 53. Why? It was at one of the corners, so it just felt right. Look, okay, at least I'm doing something productive. Day 11, I could finally say the farm was complete. Now that I don't have to worry about food for a while, I can actually work on a real base. Starting with a roof that will cover the entire chunk so I can finally do stuff at night. But before that, I made my first pieces of armor so I can safely work with phantoms. Making this roof out of wood slabs made it so I ran out of wood pretty quickly, so I had to build a makeshift tree farm to get the rest of the wood. I finished the roof day 13 and fought off more phantoms. Day 14 marks a pretty special day because of our sponsor, Rage My Channel, so please subscribe. Okay, but actually day 14 I started building a mob farm, which in theory should give me access to a whole new loot table that I wouldn't get otherwise. You know, I probably shouldn't have been speed bridging because of this. I almost died! Do you know how bad that would have been? Now the design of the mob farm I have in my head starts with building straight up, and I don't really want to do that with phantoms around, so I went mining again. I also found a cave, if you think that's interesting. Day 15, and all I did this day was mess around with my crops and found these weird patterns where I couldn't place any seeds. Kind of weird. The night of day 15 and the morning of day 16 were spent mining, and nothing too special happened until I heard lava. If I have a lava pool inside of my small world border, that would mean I could go to the nether. I could make an enchanting table, and yeah, there was a cave. with a single lava source block outside of the chunk. Well, at least I got iron. After I finished mining, I spent the rest of day 16 gathering wood and continuing work on the mob farm. I didn't get too far though because I kept spilling water onto my crops, which made it so I had to keep replanting them. Later, I completely rebuilt the wheat farm to fix the bug that prevented me from planting crops in these areas. It didn't work. Going into day 17, and of course we're starting out this day by mining. I'm kind of getting tired of it being the only thing I can do at night, so hopefully someday I find a way to get sheep for a bed, but for now it's all I can do. I guess I spent a bit too much time mining because before I knew it, it was day 18. Now, I am figuring out the design of the mob farm as I go because it has to fit in one chunk. After I built up the mob farm to which I'm assuming is tall enough to kill the mobs on impact, I started building the waterways to trap the mobs and the platforms that the mobs will spawn on. If you're wondering why I'm placing trapdoors, it's because mobs will pathfind right over these because they think it's a full block, which is what makes them fall into the water. I'm honestly surprised how much I got done on day 18. I mean, I almost completed the entire mob farm. At this point, the top of my chunk is so high up that I can pretty much just hang without worrying about phantoms because mobs can't spawn outside of the world border and phantoms are forced to spawn above everything in my chunk. After getting wood for more trapdoors, day 19 was soon approaching, and when I was going up to the mob farm, I was reminded that I forgot to put torches down. Continuing on to the mob farm, I realized I was basically done. With just a few finishing touches, I could see if the mob farm is operational. And something was wrong, because nothing was happening. Mobs should be spawning and dropping by now. So I built a ladder that leads to the top of the mob farm. Though I wasn't able to find anything today because of more phantoms. But I checked again and nothing was wrong. Well, beside the obvious that they aren't dying from fall damage. It only worked when it was dark enough outside, and I immediately knew it was the trapdoors on the outside of the mob farm letting light in during the daytime. I honestly don't even know why I placed these here. So on day 20, I decided to go back up now knowing exactly what to fix, and apparently there were a few people waiting for me. Over 30 mobs spawned because I didn't place torches on the very top of the mob farm. After waiting for the mobs to burn, only a select few were left. And little did I know, this stupid witch would get me so low I almost thought I would have to redo this entire video. Well, the rest of day 20, I killed that son of a witch and moved on to fixing the mob farm. After waiting till morning, it's now day 21 and I can officially say that it's working. Not wanting to waste any time, I knew I wanted to add another layer to the mob farm to hopefully make it even faster. What also gave me a bump in motivation is that zombies have a chance to drop iron, which is insanely useful in my small area where I have a limited amount of ores. But before that, I had to spend the rest of day 21 mining for resources, and specifically I wanted to see if there were any more diamonds still left in the chunk. And luckily, I got more diamonds, but I had to leave them because I didn't bring an iron pickaxe. Day 22 was dedicated to the second level of the mob farm, as well as day 23 and 24. And on day 25, I increased the height of the drop, making it completely automatic. And with that, I feel like this is one heck of a start.